and V. T is for training and creating your own training for being a witch, especially being solitary, because it's interesting, right? I am currently about to embark on the lovely translation and understanding of runes. So I have been really interested in runes. I've looked into the history of them and some of the mythology that goes along with them because, of course, I've been looking up stuff with Loki and all that stuff. And I finally bought a set several months ago. And actually part of my Samhain thing was the idea of that I was sleeping with them underneath my pillow, and I actually want to possibly bless them with some of my blood and other things like that. But since I can't do any major spells until later, after Yule, I have kind of just been researching them as a whole, and it has made me think about the idea of how I set up certain level of quote-unquote training when it comes to different tools or spells or aspects of being a witch. Because when you start out being brand new and you're taking in all the information, if you kind of approach it as just like give it all to me without like a structure, then it kind of falls apart. And having a structure to your training, experimentation, what have you, then works a lot better for me, at least. And one of the things that I've realized is how much I need to playfully do the first couple of steps in my training. It is very much of me picking up and just sleeping with the runes underneath my pillow. It is me reading different one of these between Kenaz, Gebo, Isa, Essa, like Algiz, learning how to pronounce these because I don't even think I'm doing it right quite yet, and then switching on to doing other things that are, you know, more in depth, of pulling a rune a day along with my tarot card a day, looking into more in-depth history of them and all of this stuff. Like, it is very much allowing myself to slowly wade into certain tools with being the more playful aspect. I don't have to have them all memorized right off the bat or understanding. Like, I am very much of a just get the concepts of it, 1. 2, learn a little bit of the history of it, along with also just then starting to immediately play with it. And then as I go along, I then kick in the more memorization aspects of training when it comes to specific tools and how things work and all of that. Because if I go straight to the memorization and I treat it too much like I have to do the thing before I can use the thing, then I lose interest in the tool right away. And I'm kind of like, like I used to approach tarot in a very like, I have to know all of these cards memorized period before I can do a single reading. And I just, no, that didn't work for me at all. And so allowing myself to just pull a card, see what I think, what is my first interpretation of it, and then if I feel the need to go to the book and see what that is and remind myself, hey, was there another association here I'm missing from the symbols or something, then I can do that. So that's T for training. U is utilize. What can you utilize in your craft? And constantly questioning this. If you missed it in my past videos, I am currently not utilizing most of anything. Just drive me a bit batty. And some people commented down below saying like, no, we're supposed to be able to use the tools, like it's fine, like why are you like tripping out about it? And it was more of an experiment for me to realize what tools I want to utilize. People always kind of talk about this in the pagan community. I think it pops up every once in a while, the idea of using too many tools, or that you have to use the tools, and actually how if you do have to use it, then it becomes very expensive to be a witch. So you really don't have to. You can literally just have you and the stuff around you and use what you want to use. While that's definitely great, there's also an idea too of being so specific, I think, in realizing what tools you wish to utilize in the first place. Because I was drawn to a cauldron because for me it cemented something witchy and it didn't feel fantastical for some reason. And it also aided to both like using potions and then also fire magic. Like it seemed to cover a lot of different bases for me. But then now pulling away, I realized that while I used to include a cauldron as my #1 thing and I was using it constantly in all of my craft always, maybe it shouldn't always be my cauldron, maybe now it should always be candles, because what I wish to utilize in my craft is a candle. What I am craving the most during this time of challenging myself to not use a tool is a candle. So that definitely shows me, hey, I maybe should switch those in my practice more, use more candles. And when it comes to being more minimal and not buying too many witchy tools and everything else, maybe the one thing I won't let myself, like I'll let myself buy more of, even if I question everything else, is candles, because I know I want to use them. I know I want to utilize it and go more in depth and really dive into the history and the different ways I can use candles with dressings and carvings into them and oils I can drip over them and different other like shaped candles and making my own. Like, I know how much I want to utilize this thing. I questioned so much of the utilization of everything, and now I know which ones I really, really love and which ones I should actually allow to be a larger part of my practice as a whole. Whereas there's other tools that I am allowing my utilization to be a little bit less. Because it's not that I disclude you entirely, it's that, oh, well, yeah, it's okay if this is a little bit less. I have a cup that I kind of consider my chalice, but it's not really my chalice in a sense. But I do use it occasionally, and therefore it is, in my mind, semi-sacred. Like, it's not 100% the way I would cherish my cauldron, but it still works in that manner. Like, it still does really vibe well with me in a sacred space at my altar type of thing. So, use for utilization. V is for victory. I kind of talked about this before in why I changed my hair video, but I think it's important to mark our victories. Kind of create our own in a sense, and I think that is something that I've noticed with markers in the craft and what level you are at the craft, or what, you know, stage of witchcraft you are, or relearning something. When it feels like victory to you, when you feel like you've accomplished something, mark it down. And sometimes you even have to force yourself to do that a bit. I don't necessarily always feel when I accomplish something that is a major accomplishment. It almost feels like an obligation. But sometimes it is a major accomplishment that I freaking just made my bed 5 days in a damn row, as opposed to letting it be a hot mess all the time. Maybe it is an accomplishment if I was able to wake up at 5 a.m. It's an accomplishment if I'm able to get all the way to Yule without using any candles or other tools in a spell. Like, that's a victory because there's something I set out to do and it was a challenge and it was hard and I'm going to do it or not do it. Like, and that matters. And I think it's important, specifically within the craft, to mark the victories, to really mark down when something works well for us. Those challenges came up because it wasn't right for a second, and that you overcame that. It's a victory, and you should honor that and appreciate that, and basically celebrate your victories more. Because it's funny how in organized religion, or in a more coven aspect, it would make sense that, you know, other people celebrate you. And sometimes we have to do a whole thing of celebrating ourselves and celebrating the fact that, you know what, even if this is so minor to everybody else, to me, it really freaking matters. And it's a big freaking deal that I was able to accomplish this for myself. It doesn't matter if everyone else looks and goes, oh, that's special to you? Cool, I guess. Like, all right. Like, no, it's a big deal to me, so that's what matters. I want it to be a big deal, so I did the thing, and it worked. Yay. Yay me. Like, anyway, that's my TUV. I make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Comment down below any of these things resonated with you, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.